TNT.
MVP matchup. The 95 MVP, David Robinson, with his trophy. 4 MVP and the MVP of this series so far, Hakeem Olajuwon, who came into prominence in 1983 with the Houston Cougars when he was joined by Clyde the Glide. They are back together again in Houston, and Clyde is seeking something he's never won in the NBA, the World Championship Trophy. Tonight, we are at the Summit in Houston, Texas, along with Doug Collins. This is Bob Neal for Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. The San Antonio Spurs with the best record in the regular season of the NBA, and the defending world champion Houston Rockets. When San Antonio began the series, they went relatively easily through round 1. Same with round 2. Then they come into round 3 with a surprise team to play Houston. San Antonio expected to move on through there. Nobody is as stunned as the Spurs, Doug Collins, as they are at being 0-2 and losing 2 games at home. And I go to you to say, what can they do now, Coach, as they come here to Houston?
Well, you always hear about adjustments. This is the 9th time these two teams will face each other. It's not about adjustments. It's about energy. It's about effort. It's about playing with a little fear and a lot of courage, and understanding that if you're the Spurs and you lose tonight, chances are your season's going to be over on Sunday.
One thing is for sure, no matter how much spirit and emotion and courage you bring, you probably won't have more than the Houston Rockets. They proved it in a come-from-behind World Championship last year, and they've had to go the hard road again this year.
Yeah, if you take a look at it, for the Rockets to get into the finals, they have to go through the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the West. Combined home records of these 3 teams, 98 and 25. The Rockets are 6-3 in the playoffs. They've won their last 5 games. They are gathering steam. They've been acclimated to Clyde Drexler to the lineup, and Hakeem Olajuwon has been sensational.
You know, you start talking about these teams, Drexler joining Houston and the fact that they're playing better, Dennis Rodman and the question of who will really show up for what game when you are Dennis Rodman, Avery Johnson for San Antonio, and Sam Cassell for Houston. But no matter when you get down to it, it still comes back to David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Well, everybody said that this would be a wash, that these two guys would sort of cancel each other out. That has not been the case. Olajuwon has been the most dominant player. You look at his points, rebounds, field goal percentage, but Bob, more importantly, come fourth quarter time, his indomitable will on this team and that championship fever has come out, and he will not let his team lose.
Game 3 just around the corner. In just a moment, we'll be back to the Summit in Houston for the 45th and final Turner Sports telecast of the 1995 playoffs.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, for a taste you'll find in no other beer at any price.
30 nights on both TNT and TBS. Good evening, everybody. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Let's go back to the first weekend of the playoffs. Houston had lost Game 1 to Utah, but our studio analyst, Chris Webber, had a vision few others had when I asked him who's going to win the West.
I like Houston.
Do you really?
Because they're still the champs. They have great players around a great player, and that's Hakeem. He's just incredible. He changes the whole atmosphere of a game. He can really send teams messages very early in the first quarter and let that be the end of the game right away.
C. Webb with wisdom beyond his 22 years. Chuck Daly back with us again.
Semifinals, and the Rockets fans are wild. They've already got their brooms out, leading 2-0 in this. Kevin Kiley, our courtside reporter, and Kevin, only one significant injury that came out of Game 2, and that was a point guard for San Antonio, Avery Johnson. How's he doing?
Bob, I spoke with Avery Johnson in the locker room moments ago. The right ankle he twisted in Game 2 is not 100%. He jumps off that ankle. He shoots off that ankle. He will have to prove himself early in this game if he's going to play a lot of minutes. In San Antonio, there is concern that Dennis Rodman is stealing the spotlight from the great season that this team had, and why not? The cover of Sports Illustrated, the front page today of the USA Today sports section, But today, the unkindest cut of all, the rump cut, if you will, Clyde Drexler's barbecue restaurant here in Houston had a Dennis Rodman look-alike contest. Now, if you think Dennis is strange looking, take a look at this bunch. A lot of weird ones. If the Spurs are to take the spotlight back from Dennis Rodman, they're going to need to win Game 3 tonight in Houston. Bob?
Thanks, Kevin. Let's look at the starting lineups. And you talked about Avery Johnson and how important he is, Doug, to San Antonio.
When Avery Johnson at his best, it brings out the best in David Robinson and Vinny Del Negro. They get into a running game. Those guys thrive in that. In a half court, it forces Robinson to play with his back to the basket, something he doesn't do well, and Vinny Del Negro gets taken out of the game. They have to come in with Doc Rivers.
Ready for the jump ball, Hakeem Olajuwon, 1994 MVP and 1995 MVP. David Robinson, our officials, Dick Bavetta, Ed Middleton, and Steve Javie. And we're going to jump it up again. And I want to mention something about that starting lineup while we have the brief opportunity. Pete Chilcutt starts at power forward, only played 5 minutes in Game 2. We'll see Mario Elie early and often.
And Mario Elie has done a great job on Sean Elliott. 4 for 12 in Game 2. They contained him. They took him out of the game. It was a real factor for the Houston Rockets to get that win.
Avery Johnson playing on the sprained right ankle. Vinny Del Negro down to only 6 points a game in the playoff. Down to 7 seconds on the possession. Robinson misses his first shot. Hakeem Olajuwon with his first rebound of the night, pushing quickly. Robert Horry, one of the heroes of Game 2. Olajuwon. It's 2-0 Houston. Hakeem had 41 points and 16 rebounds in game number 2. Sean Elliott. A penetration, and it's tied at 2.
They need Sean Elliott's points. He and David Robinson are the two guys that must come up with big numbers to match really Drexler and Olajuwon's output, and then to be who's the third guy to give them that scoring.
The foul on the double team, and it goes on David Robinson, who picks up his first one very early.
Well, you wonder why the Rockets are leading this series. Look at the field goal percentage, three-point percentage, big difference. Assists per game, almost 10 more assists and blocks. A lot of hustle stats there, and just the fact that the Rockets are playing with such great confidence. And when they're shooting the three well, you cannot do a great job double teaming on Olajuwon because they're so worried about them giving up the three-point shot.
You'd think just being located near each other here in Texas, down I-10, San Antonio and Houston, it'd be a huge rivalry. Not that huge because they haven't played in the playoffs in significant games since the early 80s. But believe me, one is building here as Clyde Drexler jumps into Vinny Del Negro. And the question, Doug, Dennis Rodman. First game, we had one Dennis Rodman. Second game, a lot of three-pointers. He set out from 9 minutes to go in the third period till the end of the game. What will he bring tonight?
I think that's the big question. I think tonight you're going to see Rodman be challenged by Bob Hill late in the game, possibly the entire fourth quarter, to play Drexler. To say we're going to try to take Drexler out of the game in the fourth period.
That's a three from Sean Elliott, and the Spurs have a 5-4 lead. We have played 1 minute and 30 seconds at the Summit.
I remember when Chuck Daly was coaching the Pistons, Dennis Rodman would play Michael Jordan in fourth quarters and played him very, very well with his size.
Down to Olajuwon again. And fade away, doesn't go this time. Rodman keeps the rebound alive, knocks it away. It's out of bounds off Pete Chilcutt, and it'll be San Antonio ball.
See, now what the Spurs would like to do is clear that rebound, not let it go out of bounds so they can get into the running game. With the Rockets knocking it out of bounds, now it's another half-court set.
Del Negro having more trouble getting away with perimeter shots. Down to David Robinson. 10 on the shot clock. Avery Johnson with the penetration. Back to the Admiral. It's 7-4 San Antonio. Certainly off to a better start than they had in games 1 and 2.
I really believe being on the road tonight is going to help San Antonio. I think they're going to play more relaxed, and I think they're going to play with more energy.
Kenny Smith, dribble penetration in the short jumper. And the Rockets off to a bad shooting start here at home. Sean Elliott has it tipped away, but Robinson is there traveling the ball. Houston ball.
That's okay, though. They ran out, and you could see had Robinson been able to handle that little loose ball, he would have had a layup. That's how Robinson scores. You know, in this series, Bob, he has been to the free throw line 30 times. Half of his points have come from the foul line.
Robert Horry posting against Dennis Rodman. Horry's jump hook doesn't fall. Olajuwon steals that rebound and is fouled.
If that's on Robinson, that'll be his second.
That's going to be on Sean Elliott. It looked like Robinson. I agree with you, Doug. One on Robinson, one on Sean Elliott in the early going here for the San Antonio Spurs. 9:25 to go, first quarter. Houston having trouble putting it in the bucket. They're only 1 of 4 in the early going. Olajuwon to Drexler for 3. That ties it at 7. Del Negro thought about the 3. He'll pull up for the 15-footer. Rebound, Robert Horry. A chance for the Rockets to take the lead. Drexler. Back-to-back triples. Avery Johnson fouled on the drive. Symbolic of how Houston can hurt you. If Hakeem misses, look out for 22.
Well, Clyde Drexler has been sensational in the playoffs, shooting the three-point shot, back-to-back threes. And in this series, they're 14 of 35, 40%. The Spurs have made only 6 three-point shots. You talk about spacing on the floor, distance, and good shooting. They need this man to make some shots also.
Del Negro does knock one down. It's 10-9 as 10-10. No, they gave him a 3 on that. 8:25 to go in the period. Quick turnover, and here comes San Antonio's Avery Johnson.
Maybe Del Negro's open if they'll find him for the shot.
Elliott missed the 3. Drexler got away with a push. Coast to coast. He's fouled.
Clyde Drexler has been rejuvenated. I was kidding him after the game the other day. I said, Clyde, you look young. He said, I've been playing like this for a couple years, Doug. He said, people must have forgot about me. He said, I've felt great the whole time, but what I've seen is a real energy in him. That look in his eyes, he wants a championship. He knows that to validate his pro career, he would like to add that championship ring to his jewelry box.
Vinny Del Negro picked up a personal foul on Clyde Drexler. How about that picture in our open from the 1983 Houston Cougars who lost to North Carolina State, and that fast break jam?
Oh,
did Clyde Drexler fly?
Oh, did he fly?
Oh, baby.
But you saw what he did. You see in the wins and losses how important he is. He averages 25 points in the wins, only 14 in the losses. He's got 8 quick points here now in the last 8 after 2 3-pointers and then getting the defensive rebound and blowing the ball right down the floor.
Houston up 12-10. Avery Johnson beats Kenny Smith off the dribble. That's what he did very well early in game number 1. He only played 17 minutes in game number 2 because of the sprained ankle.
Well, San Antonio wants to retaliate after made field goals. They'd like to catch Houston maybe celebrating going down the floor, and Avery Johnson did at that time.
3 men on Hakeem. No problem. 14-12 Houston.
A big man shouldn't be able to move like that. That's illegal. That should be an illegal offense.
Avery Johnson is the open man after the double team. Short off the bottom of the rim. Houston up by 2.
We can just sense the energy in this building. Remember, these people have not seen this team since they won in Phoenix.
Nice touch from the Dream. Olajuwon is 3 for 4. He has 8. Drexler has 7. Matter of fact, they both have 8 for the Rockets' total scoring of 16.
Well, in the series, they're averaging 58% of their points.
David Robinson with the lean in. Bob Hill thought his star center was going to be called for an offensive foul. Not so. It's on Olajuwon.
We talk about early offense for the San Antonio Spurs, and Avery Johnson has to do more of this. Even when the Rockets score, they've got to get it out and they've got to run. They've got to keep the tempo up. And watch Hakeem Olajuwon here. Shake, up and back, dip, up and under, off the glass.
He turned the Army's worst losers into a no-holds-barred fighting machine and then let them...
Picked up a technical foul.
Well, David Robinson ran right over the top of Hakeem. That would have been Robinson's second foul. They said Olajuwon got him on the arm, so a big break right that time for the San Antonio Spurs. Robinson picked up his second foul, and look at the numbers here on Olajuwon and Drexler combined.
Tonight they have 100% of their points, and in the series, the Rockets are averaging 100 points a game, and Elijah Wan and Drexler are getting 58 of them.
Sean Elliott will shoot the technical free throw. Pulling the Spurs to within 3, and now Robinson will go to the line, and Rudy T is carrying a technical as he sits by Carol Dawson, his coach on the right. Remember, 2 of those, and Rudy gets to watch from the locker room.
So is that Rudy double T now? Is that?
Oh, yeah, that works for me. David Robinson was 12 of 14 from the free throw line in game number 2.
This is where David Robinson really needs to get going. Look in the first 3 quarters. He's been averaging 13.5 points a game, 13 in the 4th quarter. He's gotten off to very slow starts, very strong finishes. He needs to get involved early tonight, get some early offense, not wait till the 4th period.
Clyde Drexler battles his way past Sean Elliott. 10 on the shot clock. Ori with a mismatch down there on Del Negro, kicks it back out. Open man with 6 on the shot clock is Hakeem Olajuwon. Dennis Rodman runs down the loose ball. Spurs with an opportunity to take the lead. Avery Johnson's penetration, a key factor for San Antonio.
Rodman would have fired that 3 the other night. Tonight he wisely passes that one off, gets it over to Sean Elliott.
Rodman kept that ball alive to Robinson. Power move. And the Spurs have regained the lead, 17-16. There is no question, Doug, that the Spurs are playing with a quieter confidence than they did in either game at home.
Well, like I said, too, there has to be a combination of a little fear and a lot of courage. You can't have a lot of fear because it'll paralyze you.
Kenny Smith to Ori. Wide open for the 3. Robert Ori knocks it down for his first triple. Houston has already hit 3 from beyond the arc. San Antonio 2.
Bob, they're averaging over 21 3-point attempts in the playoffs alone. They've taken 302 3-point shots, and we haven't played 15 games yet.
The Mad Bombers.
Watch Ori again on this penetration. It's going to be
Drexler for 3. Not this time. Robinson with a rebound. Quick outlet. Avery Johnson has Elliott. 2-on-1, nothing Drexler could do. It's tied at 19, 5:11 to go in the first period. 8 points for Sean Elliott. Robinson has 6.
You can see right there, though, when the Spurs run, they're a much more lethal team.
10 on the shot clock. Olajuwon up and under. When will he stop showing us yet another move?
Well, Olajuwon, it's my last game tonight, Bob. He's going to bring it all out tonight. He's not going to leave anything in the bag.
From the corner, Avery Johnson, and it's still tied at 21. You'll get your chance with
thank God it's only,
Olajuwon.
Thank God it's only twice.
That's what everybody would say. Rodman defending Ori down to Olajuwon.
Look how quick that spin.
Del Negro got the long rebound from behind Pete Chilcutt, tied at 21. Del Negro to Sean Elliott, and the Spurs have the lead.
They're rebounding and running, and that's what they have to do. Even if the Rockets score, they've got to run it right back at them, and you can see the importance of Avery Johnson. When he pushes it up the floor, he gives them numbers.
4 lead changes, 6 ties already. Avery Johnson early in this game with 4 assists. Open man Ori. His second triple of the night.
It's incredible the confidence that these guys are shooting the ball with. Normally when it gets deep into the playoffs like this, that outside shot doesn't go. We see Del Negro back once again. But Bob, as the pressure gets on, they're shooting it better.
Del Negro with 5 points in this game. He's been only averaging 6 points in the entire game throughout this series. The Spurs up by 1.
Well, Rodman's up challenging Ori right now.
Clyde Drexler's pull-up jumper. There we go. That's a 2.
They are shooting lights out. Both teams, 9 for 15 and 10 for 16.
Del Negro. He's feeling it. It's his 5th shot. Dennis Rodman with the rebound. That's his first. 10 seconds.
Screen roll, they'll go under this and force Avery Johnson to try to shoot the ball. They don't want him to get to the front of the rim.
Once again, Johnson dishing to Sean Elliott, who now has 12 thanks to his cutting to the basket, and Avery Johnson delivering the ball. Pitch out, Drexler, Ori. Again! That's 3 for Ori. What a spectacular show from the Summit.
Oh, this is amazing. This is as good as it gets right here. You can't play better basketball. Both teams are playing great.
10 to shoot. Del Negro.
Why not? 3. Oh, that should be goaltending. He raked that ball off the rim.
Olajuwon raked it right above the cylinder. No call on it. Rockets up by 2. Just over 2 minutes to go in the first period. It's been a wild one. Del Negro missing. Drexler running it down.
I like the fact, though, that Vinny's being aggressive tonight with his shooting, because if he's not going to shoot the ball, he's not a factor.
He's 2 for 6 with 5 points, including a triple. Drexler with 10 on the shot clock. Hands off to Kenny Smith. To Olajuwon. Knocks down the 17-footer. It's a 4-point Rockets lead with 1:47 in quarter number 1.
This got to be discouraging for San Antonio. They played their best quarter of the series, and they're down 4 points.
Avery Johnson driving and scoring, and Avery already with 6 points. That matches his total in the entire game in game number 2 when he sprained that right ankle.
Now, pace of a game like this normally always favors the home team.
Olajuwon gets single coverage, kicks it out to Ori. Not this time. He's 3 out of 4 from there. Sooner or later, he had to miss one. Avery Johnson quickly to the hoop again. Ori with inside position. 1 minute to go in the quarter.
We got some tired guys on the floor right now.
Kenny Smith. He knocks down a 3. Houston is 6 out of 8 from beyond the arc with a minute to go in the first period. And the foul, or a warning on, I believe a warning on Dennis Rodman. I saw a signal from Dick Bavetta, and he signaled Dennis Rodman's number.
This reminds me of Game 2 in Utah, when Houston, I think, hit 19 three-point shots and scored 140 points. They are playing free and easy.
Dennis Rodman handling the ball, and on the drive, blocked out of there by Hakeem Olajuwon. Drexler has Kenny Smith on the left. He's fouled on the pass.
Is this goaltending, or does he get it in time? Very, very close. Looked like that ball was still going up.
That's a technical on Dennis Rodman called by Steve Javie. And Rodman hearing the jeers from this crowd. 48 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Rockets up by 5, and Dennis Rodman is angry in Houston.
Yo, Mars Blackman here, up after a bad dream. I dreamt money retired.
It's time for me to move away from the game of basketball.
Then he became a baseball player who had trouble with the vicious double-A curveball. My room was...
Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Dennis Rodman, sitting on the bench, just picked up a technical. He had words with Dick Bavetta when the ball was inbounded underneath the Houston basket. It looked like they might have been calling delay of game, except that San Antonio was inbounding the ball, and then came the technical from Steve Javie.
Well, what happened was, after the shot was goaltended, or Rodman thought it was goaltended, he came back, and I think he made a little contact with Javie, because I watched him as he walked up. He said, "What did I do?" And Javie sort of grabbed my side, so that's where the technical came. Now, Rodman's got to be very careful. It's a guy who plays on the edge. If he gets thrown out, it'll just be part of the Dennis Rodman saga in this whole series. So he's going to be very careful right now. He does not want to incite this crowd. This Rocket team is on fire right now.
Up by 5, Kenny Smith at the free throw line for the technical free throw. And it will be Houston ball. Rodman now talking to Steve Javie. To say Dennis Rodman plays on the edge is about as much of an understatement saying Madonna sings rock and roll.
That's good, Bob.
Oh my, the worm.
Mario Elie in the ball game now for Chilcutt. So this is a team we saw a lot of the other night. Elie 34 minutes off the bench, and he's been playing great against Sean Elliott.
Spurs led 29-28. They're down now 35-29.
Olajuwon's jump hook. He has 14 points. 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Olajuwon 6 of 9. Robinson pull-up jumper. He didn't want to take that. Rebound Drexler.
David got in the air, Bob, and at the last minute he said, uh-oh, I have to shoot this ball. Well, you never leave your feet to be a passer. You go up in the air to shoot the ball. You can always pass.
Rockets were down 29-28. They're ahead by 8 now. Spurs have 3 seconds.
Got to get it up.
Robinson. That counts. Put it in the book. 37-31. An incredible, explosive, bombastic first quarter. 62% from the floor for Houston, and Robinson at the buzzer pulls the Spurs to within 6.
TNT's got a double date for you. 28.
They're having a party at the Summit in Houston, Texas. 68 points scored between the two. This is the Houston mascot. His name is Turbo, playing the role of Clint Eastwood. In the Texas shootout, the slam dunk, prior to that, Turbo pulled out his pistol and shot down the jersey of Karl Malone and Charles Barkley.
Oh, man. Look at the three-point shooting. 6 for 8. San Antonio shoots a very respectable 40%.
How about the fact that 13 have been taken here in the first quarter? Kevin Kiley, what do you have?
Spurs may be down 6, but emotionally a different team tonight. At the quarter break, Rodman sat way at the end of the bench away from the huddle. Sean Elliott said, come on over here. David Robinson gave him his seat in the middle of the huddle so he could hear Bob Hill say, hey, we're doing great. They won't hit them all night. Back to you.
Terry Cummings wasn't doing great on that defensive move as Olajuwon jams it, has 16 points, and the Rocket lead to 8.
Bob Hill has to be very careful here. With Robinson resting, they're going to go to Olajuwon, and he's having a monster game right now. He cannot let this game get up into double figures.
Doc Rivers in for Avery Johnson. Misses from the sideline. 4 substitutes on the floor for San Antonio. Terry Cummings, Doc Rivers, Willie Anderson, and Chuck Burton. Dennis Rodman pulls down the board for the Spurs, the only starter on the floor for San Antonio.
See, now this team won't be able to run because they don't have Avery Johnson with the speed on the floor. They're going to have to get some bench production out of Person, Doc Rivers, while Robinson's resting.
Sam Cassell just checked in for Houston. Misses the pull-up jumper, which is his shot. Rockets up by 8. End-to-end action now.
See Olajuwon right now playing Terry Cummings. See if they can roll him out and get him a jump shot, because Olajuwon doesn't like to cover out on the floor.
Terry Cummings on the penetration. Cassell is there, the block from Olajuwon. That's his second tonight. Mario Elie to Drexler. Horry to Cassell.
Well, they spaced the floor so beautifully, Bob. 4 guys behind the three-point line. Olajuwon posting. They're playing 4 around 1.
10 to shoot.
Look at this. Look at this. Goaltending and a foul. That is incredible that a man can be that quick.
I guarantee you, even the San Antonio Spurs are amazed at this move.
Watch him step through this double team, gets hit in the head, and then there's the goaltend. I think here, David Robinson's coming back in. I think this is a good move by Bob Hill. He rested David Robinson, and Olajuwon hits him with 5 quick points.
J.R. Reed is also coming into the ball game, and Dennis Rodman headed to the bench, already got that shirt untucked. Next will come the shoe removal.
Well, what happens when the Spurs get behind? Rodman loses some of his effectiveness because they need offense on the floor. Right now, they're down 10 and they've scored 31 points. The Rockets are on pace to have about a 70-point first half.
Well, we're going to get Charles Jones and Chucky Brown in for Houston. But how about these numbers for Hakeem Olajuwon, who's going to the free throw line? A lot of people would be very proud to have these for their entire game.
How about some guys for a season? 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. I know there's some bench guys who didn't get that all year.
42-31, Rockets' biggest lead. 10-16 to go in the half. Hand check. Hold on Sam Cassell.
See, Bob, Charles Jones will come in now. He'll give Olajuwon a rest. And he'll buy some minutes for David Robinson. Let's see if Robinson can force Rudy T to bring Olajuwon back in the game, as Bob Hill was forced to with David Robinson.
The 38-year-old Charles Jones, one of the many Jones brothers from Albany State, has done a good defensive job in relief so far in this series.
Well, David's got to take his time and post him up and play down on the low block. There he gets the double team and finds the cutter, so that's good play. Run your offense through Robinson. Let him make the plays.
9-point lead for Houston. Doc Rivers with the lay-in from David Robinson. Chucky Brown.
Now, this is not a good shooting Rocket team here, so you can collapse a little bit more other than Cassell and Drexler. The rest of these guys are not really shooters.
Look at that pass from Ellie. The kick out to Cassell with 5 to shoot. No rebound.
Willie Anderson. Anderson spinning move into the middle, and Willie Anderson showing that he's made a vast improvement after his knee surgery. He's had a terrible time, but played 27 minutes, Doug, in game number 2.
Gave him 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, and he and Doc Rivers really ignited their comeback. It was just too little too late.
Drexler on the drive. Air ball, rebound, Chuck Person. This lineup working at the moment with Hakeem Olajuwon on the bench.
Got to get it into Robinson. They don't want any perimeter shots. Punch the ball inside. No shot blockers right now. Get it to the front of the rim. Get to the free throw line.
The double team on J.R. Reed. Fouled as he takes the shot. And the foul will be on Clyde Drexler. We have a timeout on the floor with 8:55 to go in the half.
Coming in June, the true
Olajuwon for 10 years. Last year's most valuable player. This year suffered from anemia, missed a lot of games. He is back, and I've never seen him play better.
Well, you just see all the different combinations. He had 18 field goals in the game on 31 attempts. The whirling, spinning shot in the lane, the post up, step out screen roll, you slip it, you get the dunk. Here, now you're spinning with that patented fadeaway baseline shot that Hakeem has made famous. And you see 41 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 31 points in the second half.
19 of those came in the third quarter. 8:53 to go in the half. 7-point Rockets lead.
You got to continue to go through David Robinson. No outside shots. Punch it inside.
Robinson getting inside over the shorter Charles Jones. The Spurs have scored 6 straight points since Olajuwon went out of the game, and the Rockets lead is down to 5.
You must take advantage when teams go to the bench and substitute.
Cassell on the drive. Out of bounds off San Antonio. 12 on the shot clock.
Number 6. Watch David Robinson in the low post. He loves to come middle, shoot that little shot off his left shoulder fading. That's a beautiful shot. And he could get that shot anytime because Charles Jones does not have the size to be able to get up and defend that.
Avery Johnson back in for Doc Rivers. Avery off to a good start here. Had that sprained ankle in game 2. 6 points, 6 assists early. Cassell working on Johnson, missing the lay-in.
Got to run now. David Robinson loves this running game. Keep your eye on Robinson going right to the front of the rim here.
J.R. Reed back to Avery Johnson on the drive.
There he goes.
To Robinson, and he's fouled on the drive. And up off the bench, very quickly on the Houston end, comes Hakeem Olajuwon. So both coaches tried to rest their main man. Both of them couldn't get much time on the bench.
You know, Bob, it's amazing when you look at the 4 teams that are left in the NBA playoffs. You know, really, none of them have a backup center. I mean, Robinson is backed up by really a power forward. Moses Malone's been hurt. He's backed up by either Cummings or J.R. Reed. Elijahwan is backed up by Charles Jones, who's really a power forward. You go to Indiana, they have Dale Davis and Antonio Davis behind Schmitz. And Orlando has Tree Rollins, who's 39 years old. It's amazing these teams have gotten that far. These guys have stayed injury-free, which has been a major, major deal because they don't have guys that they can go to the bench with.
Sounds to me like it'd be a good time to be on the market if you're a backup center.
Yeah, I would like to be a backup center in this league. You played for about 12 years. It'd be like a quarterback holding a clipboard that never got into a game.
For about $1 million a year.
That's right.
3-point Rockets lead. The foul is on Charles Jones. Olajuwon trouble handling the ball. 10 on the shot clock now for Houston. San Antonio has scored 8 straight points. And that steal from David Robinson as they try to enter it to Olajuwon. Chuck Person spotting up for the 3.
Way off.
That's as far off as he's been in the playoffs.
Well, he's shooting it quickly right now. Chuck Person is not getting the minutes. He's not getting the looks. And so you do things a little bit more quickly than you'd like to.
Johnson penetrates. That leaves J.R. Reed open for the jump shot. And it's a one-point Rockets lead, 10 straight points from San Antonio.
And what happened was when Olajuwon sat down, the momentum of this game turned completely around. San Antonio took advantage of resting Olajuwon.
It's coming to take cold.
San Antonio cut the 11-point Houston lead to 1.
That's what happens in this game when a guy has to go get a little bit of a rest because the pace of this game has been so fast. Both teams took advantage of it, and it forces the coach's hand. So this is where gets close into the game. Who's going to be the freshest team in the finish? We saw it in the Orlando-Chicago series. Orlando kept the pressure on the whole game. They had younger, fresher legs, and they were able to win at the end. San Antonio has got to find a way to win tonight. They have to win this game tonight. If you have to play 48 minutes, you got to play 48 minutes.
Robert Horry inside to Olajuwon. The lead down to 1. Punched away, the second consecutive steal by Robinson on the inbound entry to Akeem Olajuwon. Spurs have changed up the way they're defending Olajuwon a little bit in this game tonight from game 2. Open man, Chuck Person. Took his time that time and drains the three.
That's a very good call. You see he got in rhythm. He didn't shoot it too quickly, and a good look that time by David Robinson cross court.
13 unanswered points. The foul on Chuck Person as Horry drives. Person with a tough time covering Robert Horry. Doug, you were commenting about Chuck Person's left hand on his rotation.
Let's see if we can see his left thumb here. Watch how he squirts his left thumb down. Normally good shooters don't do that. Normally their left hand, when you let it go, is almost just parallel because the ball is resting there. He gets a lot of left thumb into his hand. I'm surprised he's been a good shooter through his career.
He struggled in these playoffs. Akeem Olajuwon from the baseline.
He hasn't.
I've never seen him play better.
He's having fun. You know, he's one of the few guys that I've watched in the playoffs who I really believe is having a great time playing.
You see him smile.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? If I played like that, I'd smile too.
The last guy I remember smiling that much playing great basketball was Isaiah Thomas, and that was a very deceptive smile.
Yeah, that was a mischievous smile. But here we see Akeem Olajuwon. You know, another thing we've seen, Bob, with the great centers in the game, other than maybe a Shaquille O'Neal, who's strictly a power player, the Ewings, the Olajuwons, the Robinsons, the Rick Smiths, the Alonzo Mournings, they are all now good jump shooters because they know that to get away from the double teams, they've got to be able to step out on the floor and make some shots. Otherwise, they'll be taken out of the game.
Reed called for traveling. Game tied at 44. 6:13 to go in the half. Houston ball. Well, there's no question. We watched the TNT coverage last night of the Indiana-Orlando game. Shaquille O'Neal has taken his game up to that conference final level.
And what pride this man has in his free throw shooting. I know I've commented on it before, but to get in and do what he's done, he's helped his team win.
Sam Cassell with a beautiful drive, but couldn't finish.
Vinny Del Negro's open if they'll find him.
They did. Del Negro drops the three, his second of the ball game. Spurs lead by 3.
Now, when J.R. Reed comes into the game, he comes up and half-court traps a little bit to get the ball out of Sam Cassell's hands. The clock is winding down now. Now you're playing one-on-one basketball, and Olajuwon's not touching it.
Ellie had the penetration to Jones, who kicked it to Olajuwon, missing one of his rare times. Del Negro, run at by Ellie, takes the shot afterwards. Sam Cassell and Ellie come away with the ball, and Dick Pavetta gives a loose ball foul on Vinny Del Negro.
That's one of those where you've got too much time to take the shot. But what you've seen the last 2 possessions, as San Antonio's running, Vinny Del Negro becomes a factor. He hits the 3, and then he misses the open 2. But the open court game is definitely helping the Spurs right now.
Moment to remind you, at the conclusion of this game, Doug and I will select the Budweiser player of the game. Chucky Brown into the ball game for Houston, and Charles Jones sits down. 5:15 to go in the half. Penetration by Cassell. Open man Ellie. That's a 3.
Mario Ellie's playing great. I think he really has been the difference in this team. They got rid of Vernon Maxwell. They took him out of the mix with a distraction. and he now knows his minutes are set, and he's playing terrific basketball.
Rudy T told me today he would start him, but he doesn't like to mess with the chemistry of the team.
I think that's very smart.
Avery Johnson knocks down the jumper.
Because he's also very confident and comfortable coming off the bench, so don't change a man's role.
Lob to Ori! How did he catch it? Oh, baby! From Sam Cassell, Ori had to get out of the gym to catch the ball. On the penetration, Elliott, offensive foul. Bob Hill is ranting on the sideline. Watch this catch by Robert Ori.
Yeah, looks like the ball is out of the rim. Out of the building. And look at Robert Ori. Talk about a guy who's playing great basketball. The Rockets are putting it all together come playoff time, right at the right time. And through all this, the Spurs are still hanging in there. It's 49-all.
Clyde Drexler back on the floor. Drexler, Ellie Olajuwon, Ori, and Cassell playing for Houston. Ori takes another of his threes. Not this time. Drexler with the offensive board. It had been kept alive by Hakeem Olajuwon. Drexler with 12. Hakeem with 21. Ori with 11. David Robinson misses the jumper. Ellie on the run. Rodman back into the ball game for San Antonio. Cassell misses from 3. Rebound Drexler. Back to Cassell. Ellie, they're just dying to pull the trigger on another triple.
Again, they're playing 4-round 1 in the post, and whoever double teams, somebody's going to swing the ball and get a 3-point shot, and they're shooting lights out right now.
The man that's open this time is Olajuwon. Misses off the rim. Ori battling for the ball. Robinson gets the loose ball. Rockets by 2. Avery kicks it to Person. He misses the 3. Olajuwon takes the rebound away from Rodman. It's 3-on-1. Drexler with a reverse. What a heady veteran play. Using the rim to guard from the block from David Robinson. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for Drexler.
Big moments right now for the Spurs. They had a run. The Rockets have regained control. We're getting into that last 3 minutes of the half. They got to hang in there right now and not allow them to get a double-digit lead.
2 seconds to shoot.
Got to get it up.
Got to get it off. That's a shot clock violation. The shot clock went down to 0. I don't believe Dick Vavetta heard it. Then he called a foul. But my opinion is the shot clock had expired already before the foul happened.
It had. I looked up. It was 0.
They're discussing it there. Dick Vavetta and Steve Jabby there on your left. There you are. Now they're making the right call. Because of the crowd noise, the officials who have to rely on a horn and a light and the clock weren't able to hear the buzzer sound. But you can take a look at the top of your screen here and see that it's down to 0.
See, it's already at 0 right now.
Right
That's
there.
at 0. There's the foul.
Good correction by our officiating crew. The Rockets are up by 4, just under 3 to go in the first half.
The NBA
He's here in Houston, Texas. Former heavyweight champ making a comeback. Very courageous decision a few nights ago.
Well, he's watching 2 heavyweights go at it tonight.
Speaking of heavyweights, Hakeem Olajuwon. What a game he is playing. What a series. 21 points tonight. David Robinson's playing great. He has 12 points in the ball game. And you've got, if you're David Robinson, Doug, you've got to at some point look up. Reminds me of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Who are those guys?
No question about it. But the difference is Olajuwon's taken 15 shots and David Robinson only 7.
Cassell to Robert Ori. Inside to Olajuwon. Good defense by David Robinson. But Olajuwon got the loose ball. Robinson is saying, what must I do?
Well, what San Antonio, what they must do right now, they got to strap it on because Houston is trying to push this tempo to get a big lead by halftime. The Spurs are faltering a little bit now, down 6 after going up, 3 or 4 points in that one stretch?
Avery Johnson left alone. They want him to have to take that shot. He made them in game 1. 2:13 to go in the half. 13 straight points by the Spurs. Now 8 straight by Houston. Johnson to Robinson, who likes to face up and make that penetration. What a block by Olajuwon! Houston Houston with the timeout call by Cassell, who was drilled in the chest following the Elijah One block. It's a 20-second timeout.
See, now David Robinson, it looks like he has the little jump shot, and he wants to get closer to the basket, and they're swarming him. He gets the ball down, and when you bring that ball down, you allow a lot of people to come into the play. Sam Cassell here with the good play. Now, the reason I say this is a good play, you've only got 2 minutes to go in the half, and you have a 20-second timeout, and you maintain a possession. Now, if that's the first play of the game, I don't like that call.
You know, Doug, you talked about footwork for centers. On that, and you're the expert here on that, it looked like Hakeem Olajuwon matched David Robinson step for step as he kept staying in front of him on the drive.
Well, and the difference was where Olajuwon is exploding at the finish, it looks like David is leaning in. He's not getting great lift.
Under 2 minutes in the quarter.
Kenny Smith in for the final 2 minutes for Houston. Cassell goes to the bench. 10 on the shot clock. Wanting to lob to Olajuwon. Robinson too good for that. That's his third steal. Rockets by 6.
That was read all the way by Robinson.
Quick double team Ellie. They find Avery Johnson.
That ball wasn't touched. I think that should go.
Steve Jammy said he didn't see it, but Bavetta calls it. They're going to give it to San Antonio. 6-point Rockets lead. Minute 34 to go in the half, and it has been something to see. Hope you've been here from the very beginning.
Well, after a 37-point first quarter, what the score is, 18 to 18. So the defense is starting to settle in a little bit now. Oh, David Robinson looked like he walked.
Chuck Person from way downtown.
That was very close to a traveling violation on David Robinson. And they get 3 points out of it. That could be a big turnaround.
Got that right. Clyde Drexler defended by Sean Elliott. This will be a problem for Elliott as they isolate the side. Here comes the double team. Illegal defense, the call from Bavetta. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Minute 7 to go until halftime. The Reebok halftime report has Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios with Chuck Daly. They'll have first half analysis. Reggie Miller talks with Craig Sager. And Doug, I want Coach Daly to talk to us some about Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, that would be
That's
good.
a request. This is a call-in show. I'm requesting that. The man who coached him when he came into the league and did such a great job with him in Detroit. And there's been a lot of changes in Dennis Rodman since those years with the Bad Boys. I remember Vinny and the Jets they called. Vinny Johnson, John Sally, and Dennis Rodman, the bench for Detroit.
You know what I think the difference is? I think on this Spurs team, you don't have the strength of guys like Lambeer, Mahorn, or whatever to keep Rodman reeled in.
Those men had strength. Olajuwon into the paint, kicks it to Drexler. That's a three from Clyde. Drexler has 17. He's knocked down 3 triples.
They've combined for 40 points in the first half of the 58. What is that, about 67% if my math serves me correctly?
And it does serve you correctly. Sean Elliott into Robinson. It won't fall. Good rebound by Elliott's turnaround. It won't go. Loose ball. Jump ball. Ellie and Rodman. Look out.
Anytime Rodman gets into a scrap like that, everybody starts holding their breath like, what's going to happen? Loose ball, and Dennis Rodman is down on the floor. Really great hustle on this play. You see Ellie. This is what I love about the playoffs. Look at the intensity and look at the effort. Every loose ball is contested.
58-52 Houston, 20.4 to go in the first half. Rodman tips it, but Drexler stole it. Clyde Drexler.
Last possession, Rockets up 6. They could go up 8. They hit a 3, it'd be 9, and it would be a major, major momentum for them going into the halftime. There it is.
For 3! Oh, baby! That's the end of the half. The Rockets go up by 9. They have a 14-3 run. Hakeem Olajuwon has been unbelievable.
Not only is it a 9-point lead, but it's a big emotional lift for the Rockets and a downer for the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs have played a tremendous first half, but the three-point shooting, Bob, 9 for 15, 61 first half points.
The brooms are out at the Summit.
to you by Reebok.
It's Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, and the world champion Houston Rockets are trying to take a 3-0 lead over the San Antonio Spurs. It is 61-52 Rockets. Akeem again huge. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Reebok halftime report. Joined again tonight by Chuck Daly. And Bob Neal's asking for it at the Summit. He wants Chuck Daly to talk about his old player, Dennis Rodman. Still good buddies with this guy, and he looks up to you. He still does. And you were saying, hey, play the guy the whole game this time. Cut down on second chance points for Houston. What's your take on the whole series, the whole thing with Dennis?
Well, I don't know how much time we have. I know we don't have enough time.
Take a couple of days
to discuss it.
He asked for it. Take your time.
You know what, though? It doesn't make any difference. When the other club makes 9 threes, it's not going to make any difference who you play on the other club. I know Doug was indicating he thought San Antonio should run the ball. I don't think I'd have gone into Houston and want to run the ball, although that's their style. You run the ball, and the way they're playing makes it very difficult. Dennis Rodman is a whole different player than when I was there. In fact, he's not the same person. He's a terrific guy, but he has learned about promoting himself. He's on the cover of every magazine, and he's getting his name spelled right.
Yes, he certainly is, and that's, as we know, the most important thing. Now let's talk about the game. Akeem Olajuwon hasn't changed much, still dominating. 23 points in the first half, and just wearing them out. The telestrator is yours, Coach.
Yeah, let's take a look. And the game plan, here's the ball thrown in to Olajuwon. Watch what happens. There is no double team, but hold it right there. Everybody's surrounding him, but nobody's coming to close on him. So consequently, what you're going to see is up and under again, and he's been doing this at will. If you don't close him down and double team him, you're not going to be able to stop him.
Again, he's the focus of attention here, but he's got help.
He gets some help here. They start to come down, hold it right there, but they haven't really made a decision on who's double teaming. There is no double team. He gets in a little bit of trouble in the air here, kicks it out, and here's the big problem. Rodman runs at him, hold it right there, runs at the shooter, but here's the kick. And we've seen 9 of these in this first half, and when you make 9 threes, you're going to have a tough night if you're the opponents.
Robert Horry having a tremendous series as he knocks down the three-pointer there, and you think back to Robert Horry, he almost got traded last year to the Detroit Pistons for Sean Elliott, but Elliott didn't pass the physical because of the kidney problem. Horry stays in Houston. He got a ring last year, maybe getting another one this year. 61-52, Houston with a lead over San Antonio. When we come back, Craig Sager on the Pacers' main man, Reggie Miller, will be back.
New Armor All Day.
Tonight in Washington, D.C. for our very own Doug Collins, inducted into the GTE Academic All-America Hall of Fame. When he was at Illinois State with the Redbirds, he was twice an Academic All-American, Dean's List guy. I mean, they called him Cliff Notes Collins back then, in those days at Illinois State. Dougie, nice going, man.
Thank you very much, Ernie. It was a wonderful, wonderful night. The GTE people were great, and I'm so very thankful to join a prestigious group of people. Our own Pat Hayden is in there also.
You know, I've said publicly that you're the smartest man I've ever known. I have to change that because you're going to Detroit. Ted Turner's the smartest man I've ever known. You're a close second, though.
I like your strategy, Bob.
That's my pregame strategy. The strategy for Houston is working, and that is outstanding confidence. I think that's probably the key word. Everything they seem to do, they believe is going to happen.
When you shoot the three-pointer like they are, 9 for 15, you're spacing the floor, any kind of collapsing on Olajuwon, any dribble penetration, you're shooting that kind of confidence, you demoralize the other team, because what you want to do is you want to force the team under pressure to shoot from the perimeter, and the Rockets are shooting it just great.
Let's find out what Bob Hill thinks about it. Here's Kevin Kiley.
Bob, you come out pumped, you play a terrific first quarter, you're down 6. You come storming back in the second quarter, you're down 9. They've hit 9 threes. You get the feeling you're tied to the railroad tracks here?
No, they're at home, they're pumped up. I think we're in good shape. I think, the first quarter they hit every shot. The first quarter was a great quarter for both teams, and they hit a lot of threes, and Akeem was, he was fabulous. But we just got to keep coming at him, and we're here tonight for a change, and if we just keep offensive pressure on him and keep moving the ball, I think we're going to be all right.
Olajuwon 23 points, but you've had success fronting him a little bit, and David's had success on that entry pass, knocking it away.
Yeah, we changed our strategy on him, and it's helped at times. Obviously, he's got a lot of points. He had 18 in the first quarter, but we just got to keep him off balance and try to keep wearing him down. If we keep if we come off the weak side on him, he's, they just kill you. They're too ready for that. So what we're doing, I think, is going to work.
All right, Bob. Thanks so much. Back to you, Bob.
Thanks, Kevin. Our Budweiser game summary. Look at these statistics from the first half of play.
Well, you see Olajuwon with a big half, 18 in the first quarter. Robinson played very, very well, but Hakeem has just been sensational. The three-point shooting, Bob, we should talk about this. In the playoffs, the Rockets have 131 three-pointers to their opponents' 83. 9 more points a game. Tonight, 12 more points from the three-point line, and we have a 9-point game.
Says it all. The big three, Robinson, Elliott, and Johnson, but you look always with the Rockets. You don't know who. You know it'll be Olajuwon and Drexler. Last game, Ori. This game, Ori, in this half.
In game 2, they combined for 85 to 106. Tonight, they have 51 of the 61.
Nobody in foul trouble. Remember, Olajuwon and Robinson both have 1 each.
Excuse me, Bob. Ellie's starting once again in the third quarter like he did to start game 2. They'd like to get off to a good start defensively. And Olajuwon, remember, he had 19 points in the third quarter. So he's going to come out and try to push his team to a double-figure lead, which he does.
If he gets 19 here, he'll end up with nearly 40 before he goes to the fourth quarter. 63-52, Olajuwon with 25 here. Avery Johnson on the drive is fouled by Robert Ori.
I think they're going to give it to Olajuwon.
They are. Ori wanted it.
That's good call. You tell these guys, anytime Hakeem is involved, put your arm up real quick, and maybe they'll give it to you.
I gave it to him. Unfortunately, that doesn't matter, and Olajuwon now has 2, as Avery Johnson goes to the free throw line. Avery with 8 first-half points. As Kevin Kiley told you at the beginning of this ball game, Avery Johnson sprained his ankle in the second quarter of game number 2, his right ankle, set out the rest of the game, and told Kevin he was not 100% tonight.
Let's talk about Olajuwon's effectiveness, Bob. He sat out 2 minutes. They get outscored 8-0. While he's been on the floor, they have outscored the Spurs 63-45.
11:10 to go in the third quarter. Opening moments from the Summit. Game 3, Western Conference Finals. Houston up 2 games to none. Drexler misses. Robinson rebounds. Dennis Rodman down the court quickly. Open man Del Negro. Offside rebound to Robinson. He's being held by Mario Elie, and Elie is giving him a lot. You have to wonder if a veteran with the experience of Elie doesn't realize that if he can toy with Robinson, it will with David Rodman, it will help him.
Well, you know, he has one technical. If they can bait him into another when he's out of the ball game. See, when Rodman's playing, he's not looking at the basket. You play 4-on-5 offensively, and it really kills your attack. He's got to look to score some points.
Avery Johnson had it almost blocked, but not quite, by Olajuwon. Kenny Smith to Clyde Drexler. Look at him pass the ball.
Again, look at the spacing. 4 guys behind the three-point line. Olajuwon in the post. Now you get a cutter. If anyone double teams, they'll kick it out for the open shot.
Driving on Robinson, just like the open man. Elie back to Olajuwon with 3 on the shot clock. Kept alive by Elie. Saved by Ori. 10-point Rockets lead.
Those are the hustle stats. You've got to get that loose ball.
Drexler on the drive. And that time, good defense by San Antonio, and the turnover is their reward.
How about in the first half, only 3 turnovers for San Antonio and 4 for the Rockets in this kind of high-pressure, intense ball game? That tells you how great these teams are playing and the way they're executing and shooting the ball.
Del Negro on the drive. Open man Avery Johnson knocks it down from the baseline. Avery Johnson has 11 and 8 assists. He's made a big difference in this ball game for San Antonio tonight. He missed most of game 2 with his sprained ankle. Olajuwon isolated against Robinson. To Kenny Smith. That's a 3.
Now you tell me how that shot goes in. That's a line drive that barely gets over the front of the rim. This guy's a 40% career three-point shooter.
10 3-pointers in this game for Houston. 3 each by Ori, Drexler, and Smith. Avery Johnson.
A little reversal of roles here. Vinny Del Negro has been the creator the last 2 plays. Avery Johnson's been the shooter.
Yeah, switch up. Bob Hill doing everything he can strategically to keep his team in this game.
The best move he could do would be kidnap Olajuwon.
But to have kidnapped him about 4 days ago.
That's right.
66-57, Rockets by 9. Spurs turn it over, but Rodman gets the loose ball. Knocked out of bounds by Elijah Wan.
Vinny Del Negro getting into the lane, drawing defense. That's why you hate to let guys get in the middle, because it just collapses your entire defense. And if Avery Johnson's going to hit that shot, the Spurs can be in good shape.
22nd timeout has been called. 66-57. Houston up 2 games to none. This is a... Take a brain surgeon for me to say today that if San Antonio loses this game, they're dead in the series. Nobody comes back from being down 3-0. Look at this intensity in the huddle.
Let's go. Vinny. Good job, baby.
Avery Johnson, the unquestioned leader of this team. As we were talking to Bob Hill before the series started, I said, I know you have leader in David Robinson. Who else? He says, let me do it this way for you. It's Avery Johnson, then David Robinson. Avery Johnson is this team's leader.
Well, David Robinson plays, and he leads by example, the way he carries himself with his presence. But you need someone out there that's feisty, that's fiery, that's going to bring you, that little anxiety, a little testiness when you need it.
Avery Johnson has it, the former Southern Jaguar.
See, they're going back to Vinny Del Negro, creating once again for Sean Elliott. So 3 straight assists for Vinny Del Negro. They're going screen roll, and Elliott's getting hung up on that pick. And Vinny's doing a nice job. Now, he's not scoring, but he's led to 8 straight points here now for the San Antonio Spurs.
Rockets by 6, 8:19 to go in the third quarter. Elijah Wan takes it into the paint and kicks it to Ellie. Gets the pick from Elijah Wan. Open man, Ori. Rebound, Rodman. Quickly out to Avery Johnson. Has Robinson and Elliott.
Walked. Got away with one there.
Elliott dropped the ball, took it back out. Now the half-court set is Robinson. Rodman finally gets down court. Elliott on the drive. Blocked by Elijah Wan. Put back up by Rodman and in by Robinson.
When we delay a game on Dennis Rodman here, he's got to be very careful. Remember, he's got 1 technical. He's got to get away from Steve Javy.
4-point Rockets lead. They were up by 10.
You got to hope that the closer the game gets, that maybe the Rockets will start missing some of those 3-point shots.
Elijah Wan loses it out of bounds. It's going to be Houston ball with 8 on the shot clock. San Antonio has scored 7 straight points. There they are, the heavyweights, Robinson and Elijah Wan. 5 to shoot. Ellie. Rodman with another rebound.
See, Rodman's rebounding and getting the ball out now, and Avery Johnson's allowed to push it up the floor, and they're getting some transition baskets.
Blocked by Elijah Wan. 4 blocks in this game. 7 on the shot clock. Pick and roll with Johnson and Rodman. 3 on the shot clock.
Gotta get it up.
Robinson has to take the long jumper, and he hits it at the buzzer. Count it. That's 2 buzzer beaters in this game by David Robinson, and the Spurs have pulled to within 2 points. Robinson has 16.
Spurs are showing a lot of heart and some courage here. Getting themselves right back in this game and doing it the good way with defense and rebounding.
Kenny Smith. The pull-up jumper doesn't fall, and now the Rockets in a short slump at San Antonio on a 9-0 run.
How often have we said the NBA is a game of spurts?
We've seen it tonight. 10 to shoot. Ellie trying to break up the handoff. 4 to shoot. 3. Del Negro bails him out at the buzzer.
They're going to Vinny to shoot. Vinny Del Negro, Bob, has been a catalyst through this whole thing. 3 assists. He gets his own 2-point field goal, and the Spurs have tied it up.
That's the most excitement I've seen on the San Antonio sideline in this series.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by...
Some excellent execution by San Antonio.
When you find something that works, you stay with it. Screen roll, he gets into the middle. Let's watch what happens. We stop it right here. Look at the defense. Twice he finds Avery Johnson. This time he gets Sean Elliott. 7 points off this one play. They ran it to perfection, and on the last play, Houston says, we're going to push this baseline, and Vinny says, that's fine with me. I'll drive it down there. I'll hit this fadeaway shot, so 9 points off the screen roll.
Wow. Vinny Del Negro, 10 points, 4 assists. Avery Johnson, 13 and 9. Those guards playing well. However, the two guards, Drexler and Smith, have 27 between them for Houston. Kenny Smith. That had no chance. Kevin Kiley, what do you have for us?
Rockets huddle very calm. Rudy T said, hey, the pick and roll is killing us. If somebody's got to shoot, let it be Avery, not Elliott. Back to you, Bob.
And the steal from San Antonio. Elliott with the drive and the dish to David Robinson, who traveled. No, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Then he traveled.
Sean Elliott made the play. The problem was Dennis Rodman thought he was going to take the shot, and once he passed off, normally that play will be called all the time.
There's only the 4th turnover for the Spurs in this game. Tied at 66.
Two-man game. Olajuwon spinning jump shot on the baseline. You can almost count it as this time he turns it over.
And the foul is on Mario Elie. Rockets in a mini slump right now, and a chance for San Antonio to reestablish themselves. They were a down 10. They've tied it at 66.
And we talk about the importance of Avery Johnson and Vinny Del Negro. Look in game 2, only 10 points tonight, 23. The assist up 10, and their minutes way up. Avery Johnson playing very well on that tender ankle.
5:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. Kenny Smith playing Johnson.
Look what they're going
Elliott
back
out
to
here on Del Negro. Same play.
That's exactly right. Why not? I haven't stopped it yet. That's 11 points off that screen roll.
And Del Negro has 12 points. He's only averaging 6 a game in this series.
And he's a guy that you don't normally count on creating shots off the dribble. He's usually the recipient of those passes.
Clyde Drexler stops a 13-0 run to tie it at 68. Drexler with 19.
Here we go again. Screen roll. What are they going to do on it this time?
Keep going to that same well. Robinson on the roll. 5 to shoot. Driving on Olajuwon. Count the basket and the foul. And it is on Akeem Olajuwon. That's his 3rd.
Clyde Drexler makes a nice move on the baseline. Let's keep our eye on Sean Elliott. It looks like he got banged on the shoulder. See if someone comes in and hits him on the shoulder. Right there. He comes out of there wincing.
Robinson makes it a 3-point play, and the Spurs have a 3-point lead. Elliott's still on the floor with a sore right shoulder. His teammates on the bench on their feet. San Antonio really inspired in this game, more than we've seen them for the entire series.
Well, they better be. If they're not inspired tonight, they're in serious trouble.
71-68 Spurs. Dave Ori will go to the free throw line. Dennis Rodman picks up the personal, his first.
I know this game is a long way from being over, but I felt coming into the game tonight that San Antonio would play a much better game. Now, you didn't know whether the Rockets would match the way they played, and they have. They've gone through a little bit of a drought here, but even in that, they're only down 3 with Ori shooting 2 free throws. But the Spurs have been a good road team all season long.
And the Spurs beat Houston 5 out of 6 times in the regular season, although they were all close games.
Well, I remember when I coached Chicago my last year, Cleveland beat us 6 straight, 0-6, and we beat them in the playoffs. You can throw all that stuff right in the toilet come playoff time.
All these coaching memories come flooding back, Doug.
It's day-old news come playoff time.
71-69, Spurs by 2. Avery Johnson isolated against Kenny Smith. Smith has played a lot of minutes in this game, more than Sam Cassell. 8 on the shot clock. Pick and roll into Robinson. 35 is the call. It's Robert Ori. It's 25, actually, Robert Ori. Despite Middleton's 35 seconds.
San Antonio has really simplified their offense in this quarter. They've gone almost to fast breaks or quick screen rolls, and Houston has not countered them. The Rockets are going to have to find a way to defend this pick and roll. They've been mashing it, pushing it up, and trying to go under it. They really haven't trapped it. They've tried to show and get back, but as Olajuwon get back to his man, the guy's allowed to turn the corner, and then they've got the shooter spotted up on the weak side. So they've got to take a look at what they want to do as this game goes on to that screen roll.
You were looking at the brain trust with Bob Hill, Hank Egan, Dave Cowens there on the bench. Biggest lead of the game for San Antonio, a lead of 4. Looking for Olajuwon. Drexler. Not this time, kept alive nicely by Ori. Olajuwon's going to take it back inside. The foul on David Robinson, that'll be his second. Another close call there.
David Robinson was moving. Did he get his shoulders square? Olajuwon gets him in the air and jumps right through his chest. And normally when a guy's moving like this, you'll get the call. Watch this now as David Robinson is going back. He bumps him and then he falls back. I think that's a good call.
Olajuwon rattles it in for the three-point play, and it's a 1-point Spurs lead. Akeem with 28 points.
If you're going to give Robinson that call in the first half, then you got to come back and be consistent. And that's exactly what they did. So as a coach, you can live with that.
Steve Jabbie with a call on Mario Ellie as he was holding Benny Del Negro, and that was the one that put him in the penalty. Will be shooting now with 3:23 remaining in the third quarter. Only 2 team fouls have been called against San Antonio this quarter.
15, Benny Del Negro, plus the penalty.
Benny Del Negro, you see why he's playing better tonight, Doug. He let that beard grow about 3 days. Got the mean look.
That's probably about 2 months for Benny.
I was thinking
he started this in February. We would look tough in the playoffs.
Benny Del Negro, who has really risen to the fore tonight. 13 points. That's his high in this series.
Well, you know, when we talked about San Antonio, and everybody talked about their playoff chances, everybody talked about how would Avery Johnson and Benny Del Negro play come playoff time. So when they have struggled, the Spurs have struggled. They're playing well tonight. The Spurs are playing well.
Leading by 3 with 3:17 to go in the third quarter. Open man, Mario Ellie missing the 3. Houston going cold from 3-point territory. Olajuwon gets the bounce pass. Robinson is there to play the defense. Kenny Smith passing it. Drexler throws up the 3. It doesn't go down. And now Houston has started missing their 3s here in this half. They have missed their last 4.
We have a Houston foul
on Clyde Drexler. That's 3 on Drexler. Olajuwon also with 3 for Houston. Houston sensing a little pressure here from San Antonio.
Sunday nights this fall, the NFL is on TNT.
NBA playoffs, and we're just around the corner from the draft for next year, which we'll televise once again. Jason Kidd, one of the 2 co-rookies of the year who went in last year's draft, along with that young man who will be playing for Doug Collins. Grant Hill from Duke. And Doug, I guess you'll be getting ready for the
draft. You know what I think is pretty great? Chuck Daly is going to give up the month of June playing golf to help me in the draft as an unpaid consultant. Chuck, thank you very much.
Chuck, I'll believe that when I see it. He would be a good consultant.
No question.
He's got to have some loyalty still left for the place where he won the rings. Kevin Kiley, what do you have on Dennis Rodman?
Bob, first 2 games, Rodman wandered around outside the huddle, didn't listen all night tonight. He's been in the huddle, leaning over, listening. Just before they broke the huddle, he stuck his hand in with the rest of the guys. He's in for this one.
And his team's up to a 4-point lead as J.R. Reed comes in for Dennis Rodman.
Now remember, J.R. Reed, when he comes into the ball game, you watch San Antonio, they'll put some up-court pressure just enough to try to trap the ball, force him to get the ball out of the point guard's hand, use some clock. So J.R. Reed plays a little bit different role, and also he can give them some offense.
You saw the picture of Rodman going to the sideline there, the full court pressure. His teammates wanting to shake his hand. He wants no part of it. It's how he's going to be. Spurs by 5. Trying to post up Olajuwon. 10 on the shot clock. spin move up and under. The Dream has 30.
You can see they're not doing much doubling on Akeem right now. They're forcing David to play him straight up. They don't want to free up the three-point shooting, but the Rockets only 4 for 14 in this half shooting the basketball.
J.R. Reed with 10 on the shot clock. Olajuwon with the rebound. Now Houston on the run. Drexler to Chucky Brown. Loose ball foul is on Chucky Brown.
Loose ball foul on Houston's number 52, Chucky Brown.
See, playing him straight up. No help here at all defensively. And these guys are so good, you let them go one-on-one. If you let Robinson go one-on-one against Olajuwon, he's going to score also. So David's got his hands full down there right now.
Chucky Brown committed that loose ball foul after missing the gimme shot on the handoff from Clyde Drexler. You see the Dreams numbers here. And in this quarter, San Antonio, one way they've gotten back into this is being 8 of 9 from the line. This is only the 4th free throw attempt for Houston. Or San Antonio. This will be their 10th. J.R. Reed knocks it down.
It will be very interesting to see which coach blinks first and subs for their center. Because we saw in the first half when Olajuwon sat down, they got outscored 8-0. And when Robinson sat down, Olajuwon scored 5 quick points. We might see these guys not leave the floor the rest of the night.
You see the pressure there. It took 10 full seconds to get that ball into the set for Houston. Single coverage on Olajuwon again. Robinson denies him the baseline. 5 to shoot. Drexler's going to have to pull up. And gets the rattle. Spurs by 3. Drexler has 21.
The greatness of individual stars come playoff time. Shot clock winding down. Get it to your stars. Let them get a shot for themselves or create it for one of their teammates.
Minute 31 to go in the quarter. It's been the Spurs round. Avery Johnson on the drive. Denied by Kenny Smith. And the rebound to Olajuwon. Houston seems to make a spurt at the end of the quarters. Let's see if they do here with a minute 12 to go. Olajuwon singled up against Robinson, spinning into the middle. The jump hook doesn't go down that time. David Robinson with excellent defense. Minute to go in the quarter. Avery Johnson fouled by Kenny Smith on the drive.
See the importance of Avery Johnson. You get into penalty and you just run the ball down the other team's throat, get contact. There's no way in the world that you're going to be able to play Avery Johnson without a hand check in the open floor. You're in the penalty, get to the line, but take advantage of it. Here he is with a left to right crossover and the bump by Kenny Smith. So smart play by Avery Johnson. Keep the pressure on the defense. And if we remember, Bob Hill at halftime said, we want to keep the pace of the game. We want to keep the pressure at them. We feel they'll start missing. And that's what's happened in this quarter to enable them to get a 3-point lead. They've outscored the Rockets by 12.
Avery Johnson missed that first free throw. Spurs by 3. Just under the minute to go in the third quarter. He misses both of them. Those are big misses. Houston walking it up. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
See Robinson out of the game now with Cummings on him. They're going to go right to Olajuwon. No contest.
Oh my, has 32.
You got to get your guys some rest. Hopefully you can buy a minute here at the end of this quarter.
Spurs by 1. Half a minute left in the quarter. Sean Elliott draws a little iron and nothing else. Rockets can resume the lead here.
Olajuwon said, wait a minute. Let me get down here, throw me the ball, I'm going to score, and we're going to regain the lead.
Trying to post him up against Terry Cummings, battling him down there in the post. Single coverage on Olajuwon. He'll have his opportunity. Coach Collins, you saw it coming. The problem is, what can you do about it? Terry Cummings throws it up at the buzzer, and just as Doug told you, Akeem, the leader, the man called for the ball, scored 8 of the last 10 Rockets points. They have regained the lead.
Olajuwon, unstoppable. He's got you down in the torture chamber. Just what does he want to do to you? The fadeaway jumper, and he knocks it in.
It's as far as Michelin science has ever gone. Our biggest breakthrough since we invented the radial. Techno.
Back to Houston, Texas. They're calling themselves Clutch City. We'll see the final 12 minutes to go and a narrow 1-point lead.
Well, I think it's interesting when you look at the scoring. Houston's going down each quarter. San Antonio with a so-so second quarter. They bounce right back. But Olajuwon took advantage of the David Robinson substitution. I think Olajuwon's going to go the rest of the game. So David Robinson's going to have to scrap it on here and give them 12 minutes of MVP basketball to push this to a 2-1 series.
You see, Sean Elliott is just exhausted. He also banged up his right shoulder a little while ago, and he's got his thigh wrapped also. You can see he's breathing hard. Olajuwon, 34 minutes. Robinson has played 33 minutes. And they'll probably go as much as they can the rest of the way. Rockets by 1, the final 12.
Let's see if when Rodman comes back in the game also, they put him on Drexler.
David Robinson faced up against Olajuwon, finds the open man. It's Chuck Person. He knocks down the three. The rifleman has 3 triples in this game for all 9 of his points.
They need his shooting. He's an explosive player, so when you're going to double team, he gives them the same weapon that the Rockets have.
Rockets seem to have been leaving him open for that shot. He'd been shooting so poorly in the playoffs. 8 to shoot. Knocked out of bounds with 6 seconds on the shot clock by Willie Anderson on the floor. It's J.R. Reed, Willie Anderson, Doc Rivers. 4 to shoot, and the hand check on Doc Rivers. No shot, wave off the basket. And, of course, we'll keep close track of the team fouls here. That was a real significant difference in the third quarter as the Spurs started going to a line with nearly 4 minutes left of the period.
And Bob Hill told us one of his keys was get to the free throw line, but shoot a good percentage. In game 1, they missed 7 free throws and lose a 1-point game.
Olajuwon with a triple team. Or he went down the loose ball, and he's fouled. I think he knocked out of bounds by San Antonio. It'll be Houston ball with 12 on the clock.
I think what happened, J.R. Reed was standing out of bounds when he knocked the ball loose from Olajuwon.
10 to shoot.
A double back-off passer. They don't want to leave Ori open. He's been shooting the ball so well. We now have an illegal defense. So it's been a nasty possession for the Spurs.
That's the second one, so we'll be shooting them. Spurs are up by 2. They're down 2 games in this Western Conference Finals. And the Spurs know that if they go down 3-0, no matter what they say and what they think, they'll believe, as will everybody else, that it'll be all over.
You know, the Spurs win tonight, and it's 2-1, and then the series and the pressure swings back to Houston again because they say, well, now we can't lose that next home game. It's a little chess match you play here psychologically by winning this game.
Houston, again, this year came back from being down 3-1. They're the comeback kids. Down by 1. Nice pass inside to Chucky Brown, who muscled it in despite the block by Doc Rivers.
When you come off Olajuwon and he sees where the double team is coming from, he's a good passer. That's why I think you've got to be able to change up your double team so he does not know where to look for it.
Olajuwon has 4 assists in this game. Rockets have regained the lead by 1. 10:25 to go. 5 on the shot clock. Illegal defense is now called against Houston, and that's the first call against them. It'll be new clock and sideline out of bounds.
Look at Olajuwon's eyes. He's watching J.R. Reed the whole way, and the moment he gets into no man's land where he's not doubling and he can't guard his own man, Olajuwon drills a beautiful pass to Chucky Brown. And that was an illegal defense because when the Rockets came on the double team, they came soft. And you've got to create a tough double team, and they'll get you for that.
Willie Anderson, as the Spurs got a new shot clock. David Robinson draws the double team quickly. Back to Person. This time Ori was in his face. It'll be Houston ball up by 1.
That shot was from Austin, Texas.
From the Austin city limits. .82 Houston. 9:55 to go. Back to Akeem.
The Rockets are starting to stand around a little bit right now, Bob. They don't have the crispness. I think San Antonio has changed their defense a little bit. They're staying at home on the three-point shooters. I think Olajuwon's going to have to attack quicker because they aren't coming after him to double.
That's 3 on Robinson.
Yeah, you've seen it all.
Our Dutch boy in the paint from the Summit in Houston, Texas. The battle of the MVPs. Olajuwon 34, Robinson 21. They're dead even with rebounds. Olajuwon with 5 blocks. You're not going to see better play by centers than these two.
And in fairness, Olajuwon has taken 24 shots. David Robinson only 12.
9:49 to go in the game. Houston up by 1, and the Spurs know that they cannot go down 3-0 in this Western Conference Final Series.
Be interesting to see if Olajuwon goes quickly now and does not wait for the double team because it's not coming. There's no one there coming to double team. Goes quickly with it, and this time he gets the fadeaway.
And Chuck Person gets the rebound. He was a little out of rhythm on that.
Yes, he was. They bumped him away from the basket, and when he shot it, he didn't get his legs underneath him.
Now Robinson against Olajuwon. Open man, good ball movement there. Was Willie Anderson. The long rebound back to Doc Rivers. He doesn't get it. Olajuwon with another rebound. He has 10 in the game. 9:17 to go, and the Rockets lead by 1. Cassell in at the point now.
Wants Olajuwon to set a screen for him. Olajuwon says, I want the ball in the post.
Horry.
No good. That's way off.
Willie Anderson ran at him and caused him to miss that.
Those shots starting to get a little tighter now. Not flowing quite as freely as we saw in the first half.
Chucky Brown punches it away from J.R. Reed, and here comes the double team. The open man is Robinson from 15. He'll knock that down about every time. Spurs regain the lead.
See, I don't think you need to double team J.R. Reed. I'd make him to make a couple shots on me before I ran down there and allowed him to free up David Robinson like that.
Ellie gets it to Cassell. Walk. Travels with the ball. Sam Cassell has struggled tonight. He has scored only 1 point, a free throw, has a couple of turnovers, and is 0 for 4 from the field. He was one of the heroes in the Game 7 win over Phoenix when he came in the third quarter and scored 12 straight points.
Now, Rodman's back in the game. Let's watch when Drexler comes back. Does Bob Hill go with Rodman on Drexler to try to take him out of this fourth quarter?
Rodman has 9 rebounds, no points in the game. Del Negro on the drive.
That's that screen roll once again that the Rockets had so much problems with.
10 to shoot. Elliott reverses it to Avery Johnson, who loves shooting from there, but not this time. Quick outlet to Ellie. He'll wait.
Avery Johnson had just come off the bench. It cooled off a little bit. First time he touches it, he shoots it. That's a tough shot to make.
Down inside to Akeem. Again, single coverage. He spins it inside. If David Robinson is not quick enough to stop you as a center, nobody is.
Well, I think you've got to make him come back to the middle if you're not going to double team. That way, when the guy puts it on the floor, you can at least sink and give help.
Benny Del Negro. He's been a significant factor in this game tonight. 16 points. Spurs regain the lead. They'll just keep milking Olajuwon.
There goes middle, and this time, what's he going to get? A blocker charge. There's a charge.
Ed Middleton started to make the call. He waited for Dick Bavetta, and Bavetta gave the call, and that will be number 4 on Olajuwon.
Now, Hakeem might be getting a little tired. Remember, Robinson got a little bit of a rest at the end of the quarter. Olajuwon didn't. I think that's a good call. He lowered his shoulder. Watch it as he turns in once again. Right there, when you lower that shoulder, you're going to get the call.
About $50 million worth of player going down in the pile.
Keep our eye on those fouls, Bob. They're starting to mount up.
And that's on Sam Cassell for the Rockets. That's their first team foul, and the Spurs have 2 with 7:13 to go. The offensive foul, of course, not counting as a team foul.
Yeah, I thought the Rockets had 2. That would have been their 3rd. I was looking at the Spurs up on the board.
Del Negro being played by Horry.
Horry with a steal.
The open man is Ellie. What a pass! Lead changes in this game. Del Negro drives, is hammered by Olajuwon. Let's see if they call him for the foul. If so, it'll be 5.
Great steal by Ori and the spectacular speed and catch of Ellie. He made that play look easy.
They call it on Ori.
In the heat of the night's new home.
6 minutes, 49 seconds to go. Game 3 Western Conference Finals. Houston up 2 games to none and now leading by 1.
Well, you could see Mario Ellie just ran past Dennis Rodman and gets the dunk. Bob, the way San Antonio has gotten back into this game, Houston hit 10 of their first 16 three-point attempts. They've missed their last 5. They've only scored 26 points this half.
You see the Spurs stepping up, the 2 starting guards, first of all, tonight, and Chuck Person, who struggled in the entire playoffs, specifically this series, also has knocked down some big threes.
You know, what's the story with Drexler? He's been down on the bench a long time. I thought he might be back on the floor after this timeout.
Sounds like a story for Kevin Kyler.
Here he comes.
Del Negro drops the 3, and the Spurs go up by 2. I guess Kevin sent Clyde back into the game. He's waiting to check in at the next dead ball. Olajuwon, they're going to keep working it and working it. Single coverage from Robinson. Turnaround goes down in his rhythm.
Olajuwon is unstoppable on that move because he fades away from you and takes space where you can't get to his shot.
38 points with 6 minutes to go in this game. He had 41 in game number 2.
Now, if the Spurs are going to win this game, not only do they have to execute, but they have to want it more. They have to play with fury.
Avery Johnson with 5 to shoot back to Del Negro, who's going to take that 3. Not this time. Olajuwon is there. It seems like when the big play is called for, so many times you see the dream.
They're going to go once again to him. See if they start double teaming. They're not shooting the 3 well. They might want to make him shoot a jump shot.
That time a quick shot by Olajuwon. He misses it, tied at 89. 5.5 to go in the game. Both teams carrying 2 team fouls. Johnson open for the drive. He's fouled.
Rockets foul number 10, Sam Cassell is 3rd.
Watch Hakeem get space here. The little bump and the rhythm. Look at him step back. And then when you need a defensive rebound, you call on Hakeem Olajuwon. Which star is going to will his team to victory tonight?
And you see Dennis Rodman, the NBA's leading rebounder, had inside position. Olajuwon got it anyway. Avery Johnson.
Quarter free throw shooting for the Spurs.
They're 16 of 19 for the game. We'll keep track of this 4th quarter shooting also, as it'll be very significant. It has been in the other games. Avery Johnson knocks both of those down. It's a 2-point game once again with 5:25 to go. Sam Cassell running the show from the point. He struggled tonight. Now Ellie with the pick. Cassell, Drexler, Ori, 10 on the shot clock. Drexler, blocked by Robinson. 8 to shoot. The no-look pass to Drexler. 5 to shoot. Clyde throws it up, draws iron. Rebound, Dennis Rodman. My, oh, my.
That was a great defensive sequence that time by the Spurs. David Robinson, the great block.
Robinson pulls up and knocks down the jumper. It's a 4-point Spurs lead with 4:50 to go.
David Robinson is playing like an MVP tonight. He's really upped the level of his game. 25 points, 9 rebounds, couple block shots, 4 steals.
And covering Olajuwon one-on-one all the time. Olajuwon misses at that time. Rodman with the rebound. Outlet, Sean Elliott. Blocked by Drexler! Whoa, baby! Clyde Drexler with one of those turnaround plays, Doug.
That's a good call. You know, that's why you try to dunk these if you possibly can. You couldn't on that one. I think that was goaltending. I think that ball was on the front of the rim.
It was so pretty, they just couldn't blow it. 19 on the shot clock for San Antonio. Up by 4. Avery Johnson. Dennis Rodman gives it to Robinson, and Robinson goes hard into Olajuwon. He's going to be called for the foul, and that's 5 on the Dream.
Now, Elijah Wan's body was in good shape, but I think he reached in with his hands and fouled him before Robinson ran over him. Let's see if we can see this. Watch Elijah Wan's arms. Looks like he reached down and grabbed his arm right as he was coming down, and then the contact. Obviously, that call is not going to sit well here in Houston.
And the Spurs have their biggest lead, a lead of 5 points. 94-89 with 4:16 to go. Robinson has not missed from the free throw line tonight. He is 8 for 8 as we keep track of these critical free throws. Bob Hill said he thought that would be one of the 3 keys to this game for the San Antonio Spurs. They're up by 6. Biggest lead in the game for the Spurs. Spurs defense has been intense this half. Down to Elijah Wan, who slipped inside of Robinson, who went for the steal. Spurs by 4, 40 for Akeem.
When you got that kind of lead, David's got to stay behind him and make him make a shot over his outstretched arms. You don't give the guy a dunk in that circumstance.
3:47 to go. Crowd on their feet here at the Summit.
Screen roll once again. Remember all kinds of problems the Rockets had with this in the third quarter. That was the man getting the shot.
The open man is Elliott for 3. Big bucket from Sean Elliott. He has 20 points and 3 triples, and the threes are hurting Houston. Live by him, die by him. Drexler.
See, that shot's not even close. At this point in time, that shot is way too quick. That screen roll has caused Houston all kinds of problems because they're allowing Vinny Del Negro to turn the corner. Avery Johnson spotting up. I go right back to it once again. They've scored about 17 points off this one play.
And here they are going right back to it again.
Why not? Make them stop it.
Charles Jones trying to play Robinson. Del Negro driving. Dishing to Avery Johnson. Saved by Ori. 3 minutes to go in the game. Spurs by 7. Rockets looking for somebody to step up. Foul on the spin move here. Whistled by Ed Middleton. It's on David Robinson. That's his 4th. Akeem Olajuwon is carrying 5. We have 2:53 to go. The Rockets will be in the penalty on the next foul. The Spurs have committed 3.
You know, this is almost a similar circumstance. Sam Cassell hit this same shot the other night to put his team up 7. Sean Elliott does it tonight.
This Memorial Day,
Hang on.
if you're looking for fun,
More focus. And the Spurs have a 7-point lead with 2:53 to go. 3-point field goals. You talk about living and dying by them. Houston, 10 of 23. They've missed their last 7. The Spurs have only 3 less points from 3-point range tonight. They are 9 of 19.
And remember, they were down 12 at halftime from the 3-point line. They've caught up because the Rockets have resorted to that outside shot, and under pressure, that's the shot you want teams to have to make.
Kevin Kiley.
Bob, from the huddle, San Antonio, don't give Houston any 3-point shots. Make Akeem take tough shots. Back to you.
Thanks, Kevin. They're going to go to Akeem. Let's see what he does here against Robinson. Single coverage. Up and under. Robinson is there. 10 on the shot clock. Back down to Akeem. Spinning inside. Hands it off to Jones, to Ori with a 5 on the shot clock. Ori misses the 3. Rebound. Rodman. Spurs down 7. Rodman has 12 rebounds.
Well, that was a tremendous defensive sequence coming out of the timeout by the Spurs. They're showing a tremendous amount of pride tonight.
They know that if they go down 0-3, it's good night. Del Negro in the air has to pass to Robinson. That's the biggest lead of the game, and the first team to 100 tonight, Coach Collins, is San Antonio.
And I'm going to tell you what, Vinny Del Negro has been a big-time player tonight. He's created all kinds of scoring opportunities for his teammates by penetrating, getting in the lane, and pulling the Rockets' defense inside.
Olajuwon arguing with Dick Pavetta as he was arm locked down there with Robinson, but Houston calls the timeout with 1:58 to go.
Which beads water longer, new Armor All Deck Protector or Thompson's Water Seal? treat the same deck with both.
Antonio up by 9 with 1:58. Kevin Kiley.
Bob, you wonder why Rodman wasn't in the game at the end last time. In the Houston huddle, Rudy T says, we've got to press him. If Rodman gets the ball, foul him. And then he looked at Akeem and he said, not you.
Good point, Kevin. Akeem carrying 5 fouls. David Robinson with 4. Robinson has scored the last 4 points for the San Antonio Spurs.
And look at the three-point shooting. The Rockets have missed their last 8. Robert Horry 0 for 4, only 1 point this half. Drexler 2 for 8. He has 4. So that 3-man attack has been dwindled down to 1.
Horry finally hits a 3. Spurs pull to within 6 with 1:48, and now full court pressure.
Let's see if they can keep the ball away from Dennis Rodman. They're going to try to foul him. He better give it up.
There's Rodman. Horry fouls him.
Now Dennis Rodman is going to have to show great concentration and step up and make the free throws, or Bob Hill's going to have to get him out of the game and come in with J.R. Reed.
Rodman has only hit 4 free throws in this series. Only had 4. He's only hit 2.
Now watch when Rodman shoots this free throw. He has a tendency to fall to his left, and when he does that, he misses. So we get a good end zone view of this. If he falls left, he's got to. That's normally when he misses.
He did, and he did, Coach Collins. And the crowd on their feet. Jack Haley, his closest friend on the team, on the bench. The Spurs are up by 6 with 1:36.
You got to stay on the line. You can't move. See if he stays there this time. He did, and he made it.
Good call by Rudy Tomjanovich, and a nice report from Kevin Kiley that set that up, Kevin. It's now 101-94, 7-point Spurs lead, 1:36 to go. It's a full timeout charged to Houston. Now I understand they've changed their mind, and it's only a 20-second timeout for the Houston Rockets. Second half free throws, San Antonio 15 of 19, Houston only 3 of 4, and the Spurs still have a foul to give.
Now, Rudy Tomjanovich saw something on the last possession. Dennis Rodman was guarding Horry. They ran screen roll. Horry stepped back, and Rodman did not play the play. Let's see if they involve Rodman once again in a screen to free Robert Horry up for the 3-point shot.
That's exactly what Houston did in Game 1. Robert Horry was freed up and hit his only field goal of the game to win it, 94-93.
Just keep your eye on it. See if they go back once again. Here it is, and Rodman fouls him.
Foul on Dennis Rodman.
They had 1 to give, though. That's not a bad foul, so it's going to be sideline out of bounds. But
and only 2 on Rodman.
Dennis Rodman cannot fall asleep here and allow Robert Horry to shoot a 3. There's still plenty of time in this game. We've seen crazier things happen.
Certainly with the Houston Rockets, who can explode. Kenny Smith. Horry trying to get away from Rodman. Kenny Smith knocks down the 3. It's a 4-point Spurs game. That's 2 threes in a row for the Rockets after missing 8 consecutive triples.
Now, you don't need to foul. There's still plenty of time. You got 3 possessions left in this game.
Timeout called by Sean Elliott with 1:16 to go. The Spurs up by 4. San Antonio now has 2 full timeouts and no 20. Houston the same, 2 full timeouts.
Watch what happens on this screen roll. They use Dennis Rodman again. Look at Rodman. He screens his own man. He's in the wrong spot on the play and allows Kenny Smith to get the shot. Look at this. He's trying to face guard Horry, and he actually screens his own man. So you're going to see them go screen roll through Rodman the rest of the night.
Have 1 minute, 16 seconds remaining in this game. San Antonio by 4, 101-97, and Dennis Rodman, who was struggling defensively, stays in the game.
And also, he's going to be the guy that shoots the free throws. So if you're San Antonio, you don't want to throw the ball to Rodman in this possession. He's going to be throwing the ball inbounds, get it inside to a good free throw shooter. And Houston does not want to foul.
Into Robinson, almost stolen. 10 to shoot. Avery Johnson with the penetration. Rebound Horry, down 4, 1:07 to go.
Keep your eye on Robert Horry. Rodman is playing him once again. Let's see if they can free him up.
Hakeem Olajuwon at three-point land. 10 to shoot. Smith feeds to Olajuwon. He misses, and Del Negro rebounds. What else can Vinny Del Negro do tonight? Vinny Del Negro, the forgotten man in the starting lineup for the San Antonio Spurs, has come in tonight and scored 19 points. And there came up with a tremendous big rebound to go with his 5 assists.
Well, remember the graphic that we had to start the game about Avery Johnson and Vinny Del Negro. Tonight they've combined for 34 points and 18 assists.
No question, the story of this game has been the play of their guards. Hakeem, just another routine game. 40 points for the Dream tonight.
You know, he's 18 for 31 tonight. That's exactly what he was in game 2. Pretty consistent, huh?
Avery Johnson hits them both. It's now a 6-point Spurs lead with 45.5 left. Houston fans are saying that's only 3 threes. Shooting nearly 60%. The rest of the team below 30%. And Clyde Drexler has been very quiet in the second half.
Well, I think what you're seeing, if you're Bob Hill and the Spurs, is like maybe we want to stay home more on those outside people, not give them the looks, make Olajuwon throw up 50 points to try to beat us. The big thing you do, you just got to keep David Robinson out of foul trouble if you're going to use that kind of strategy.
Drexler was 6 out of 9 in the first half, is only 2 for 8 here in the second half. 103-97, the Spurs by 6, 45.5 remaining.
I would assume that Houston is going to go to all screen rolls here, switch on everything, take away the shot.
Kenny Smith isolated with Dennis Rodman. Hakeem takes the 3. Oh, what else can he do? What else can Olajuwon do? Unbelievable.
They don't need to foul, Bob. There's a 7-second differential. They don't need a foul.
Drexler fouled anyway, and Avery Johnson will go to the line. Spurs by 3 with 26 seconds. I agree with you, Doug. That wasn't necessarily an intentional foul as Avery Johnson fell over the feet of Drexler. Avery is 5 out of 8 from the free throw line. These are not automatics. Here is Hakeem Olajuwon with his 3 of his 43.
Shot that one pretty easily, didn't he?
Avery Johnson with clutch free throws. 19 points, 13 assists, and he's hit his final 4 free throws. Drexler misses the 3.
That's ball game.
105-100 Spurs, and the Spurs are going to avoid that deep hole of going down 3-0. It's now 2-1, and in this year's NBA playoffs, home court advantage is an oxymoron.
Might be home court disadvantage.
Coming up next inside the NBA, Dick Versace, Tim Brando. They'll have a look back at some of the fantastic finishes in this year's playoffs and a tribute to Michael Jordan. And Avery Johnson misses here. 16.8 left.
How about the free throw shooting tonight in the second half alone? San Antonio 19 for 24. Houston only 3 for 4. They died with a three-pointer in the second half tonight.
That makes it a 6-point Spurs lead. It would require 2 triples to tie it in just under 17 seconds. Oft mentioned Spurs huddle with Dennis Rodman sitting as close to the middle of the huddle as he's been in this series. He's been more focused. The team has been more focused. And the Spurs, with their backs against the wall down 0-2, are now up 6 points with 16.8 to go. Olajuwon, 46 points. Robinson, 29 points.
But you could talk about Vinny Del Negro and Avery Johnson. 39 points and 18 assists. And Vinny Del Negro in the one stretch, when they went to the screen roll, they scored like 11 points off that. That really gave his team a big, big lift tonight.
It'll give Del Negro a big lift. He had really been struggling in these playoffs, virtually taken out of the game. Morey looking for the three. Long one. Oh, he was fouled on the shot. He'll get 3 free throws with 10 seconds remaining.
Oh.
I remember a Knicks Bulls playoff game, 6 or 7 years ago. Greg Hodges, Trent Tucker.
4-point play. We were up 4. They tied it. Fortunately, we won the game. But you don't want to foul a guy shooting a 3-point shot. And he did. He hits him on the wrist. Watch him as he goes up. Right there, he slapped him.
Horry 5 of 8 in this series from the free throw line. It's a 5-point game. 10.2 seconds to go.
He might have written off Houston too soon here.
The crowd, they're standing, some headed for the exits. They're now filing back down the stairs. There's the free throw discrepancy. Bob Hill called it so clearly at the beginning of this game. He said our second half free throws could mean the difference in the game. That's 2 of the 3. It's down to a 4-point lead.
So if he makes this free throw, I'd expect San Antonio to probably call a timeout if they couldn't get it in quickly.
He doesn't. Rodman rebounds it. And they call the timeout anyway, leading by 4 with 9.1 seconds remaining.
When I come to an NBA game, I get more than I could.
San Antonio by 4 with 9.9 seconds remaining in the game. It goes all the way back to the 1981 season when these two met in the Western Conference Finals. San Antonio, coached by Stan Ulbach, and Houston, George the Iceman Gervin led the Midwest Division champion Spurs. It was a 7-game series, and Moses Malone and the Rockets prevailed 4-3. And another person who played for Houston that year was Rudy T, the coach of the Rockets. Moses on the injured list for San Antonio presently. 106-102, San Antonio with the ball. 4 points separate these two teams with 9.9 seconds. Sean Elliott fouled by Horry with 7.9.
You know, you can see the confidence Bob Hill has in Dennis Rodman, though. He's got him throwing the ball in under pressure, so he has confidence that he's going to make the right decision and get the ball in.
Bob told us, and we had a long meeting with him about Dennis Rodman, about how difficult it is for the team and Bob Hill and Dennis Rodman to have somebody this good who's this much of a problem. And Bob Hill said, I spend all season reading Rodman, trying to guess whether or not I'm going to get what we need out of Dennis at any moment. And Bob Hill has had to read him tonight and has certainly made the right calls.
I asked Doc Rivers before the game, I said, is Rodman here tonight? He said, I think he is, yeah.
He has been. And he's having a great time. That's not only Akeem smiles, but now Rodman is smiling. And the San Antonio Spurs have avoided going into the inescapable hole of going down 0-3.
No timeouts left for the Rockets. They got to push it up. They only have a 20.
Kenny Smith pulls up. Just missed the 3. Rodman gets it. That's the end of the ball game. San Antonio gets the game. The home team loses for the 3rd consecutive time in this series. San Antonio 107, Houston 102. A spectacular job by Dennis Rodman and Bob Hill and the Spurs tonight. Excellent coaching by Hill in terms of the plays that he's calling and the sets that they were running, and also the great response from the guards, Vinny Del Negro and Avery Johnson. Kevin Johnson's with Vinny Del Negro.
Vinny, 19 points, 5 assists, the high pick and roll. You killed him with that. What was the difference for you tonight?
I think we got our rotations back. We got in a nice rhythm for our team. Our back's against the wall. And just trying to be aggressive, making things happen. Avery hits a couple shots. They had to adjust to that. Then Sean hits a 3. And, you know, Dave played great for us as usual. So we're just trying to be aggressive. We got out and under. We got some easy baskets. Got more of our style of play. We haven't been doing that. So it's a great win for us.
Yeah, but you have been struggling. What was different for you?
We got in the flow of the game. We got the ball out quick, and we got some easy baskets. We attacked the basket. You know, we weren't playing half court. We were swinging the ball, moving it side to side, getting them back on our heels. And when that happens, it opens up space for me. For Chuck, we knocked some shots down. It was good for us.
All right, Vinny, thanks. Good game.
Thanks.
Bob, Doug?
Vinny Del Negro with 19 points. And David Robinson, your team down 0-2, losing 2 at home. Everybody jumping off the San Antonio bandwagon, so to speak, except the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
What was the difference in this game tonight?
Well, we were so much more focused. I thought our defensive intensity was through the sky tonight, and that's what we need to bring. The last couple games, we just looked disjointed. We weren't together, and the last couple days, that's all we've talked about, and I thought it was much better tonight.
Got to ask you the question because it comes up every game. Dennis Rodman's impact on tonight's game seemed to be more focused. Would you agree that that's true with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the things have been played out of proportion because he really hasn't been that much of a distraction.